Welcome to this KITV Waste Watch investigation special. Tonight only on KITV, we are staying on top of how your tax money is spent on the local, state, and national level.
It's what we go out and investigate every day, and right here, every Friday night, we bring you our best stories of the week.
We want to start with plans to use $700,000 of your tax money to reduce lanes on an area clogged in downtown Austin. The city wants to reduce Rainey Street to one lane, taking out some parking and charge you for the parking spaces that are left.
Now, we're talking about a roughly 2-block area between Driscoll and River Streets. KITV's Adam Bennett tells us why the city says the changes will benefit the booming area in the long run.
Whether it's 9 p.m. or 9 a.m., finding parking on Rainey Street is survival of the fittest.
I'm leaving early from my home just to find it. I'm sure you saw me going up and down the street looking for it.
Parking is really the primary concern down here on Rainey Street.
And exactly why Bangers manager Josh Cleghorn is keeping an eye on the city's latest improvement plan for Rainey. It calls for reducing the main strip between Driscoll and River to one lane, with a new protected two-way bike lane in its place, taking out a nearby traffic circle and adding new sidewalks and lighting.
We need to do something short-term or for the intermediate term to make sure that bicycles, pedestrians, and cars can all share that space safely.
Lazarus says more bars plus more traffic and already lacking safety features brought concerns from council and residents over the last 2 years.
But if they're going to do anything that's going to, lessen the number of parking spaces, then that would be a concern.
Parking on one side of Rainey would go away, but with new back angle parking on nearby East Avenue being built, Lazarus says they would actually gain 22 spaces, plus another 120 or so with the Mexican-American Cultural Center parking lot opening up as well. All of that, plus what's left on Rainey Street, would be metered.
A little bit, why make the parking metered when it's currently free at this point?
Well, because metering parking promotes turnover, so you don't have people parking there all day long. So it'll actually help, I think, clear parking.
Lazarus says money from the Cultural Center lot will go back to the center, and money from the rest of the meters will pay off construction costs. Once that's done, they'll then go into a neighborhood improvement fund, a way to ease the growing pains as new bars and new high-rises continue to sprout up. In downtown Austin, Adam Bennett, KITV News.
City says it's discussing a limited parking permit program for residents and that most of the changes will be made after South by Southwest in March.
Transparency in your tax dollars.
Next, why some decisions about public health care are being made behind closed doors. A recent property tax increase will help a nonprofit distribute up to $130 million a year to deliver health care in Travis County.
The nonprofit is not required to hold public meetings. Part of Travis County's hospital district, Central Health, says it's forming this nonprofit to help with day-to-day operations. KITV's Catherine Stolp reports some people are screaming for more accountability.
In November, voters approved Proposition 1 to overhaul healthcare services in Travis County. That raised property tax values, generating an expected $50 million taxpayer dollars a year. To help manage that money, Central Health is forming a nonprofit called Community Care Collaborative.
What this new entity is doing is really providing us more information and better care to come back and report to the board.
Patricia Youngbrown, the president and CEO of Central Health, says the board, made up of herself and 4 other unelected officials, will make all the policy decisions when it comes to healthcare delivery. All of their meetings are required to be public. The nonprofit, she says, will help with daily operations, administering how the healthcare gets delivered. Youngbrown says behind closed doors, the nonprofit can be more productive and protect patient privacy. She says Central Health will be transparent with taxpayers.
They will know where their money is, and they will know how the money's spent, and they will know what's been done with the money, because all that's done on the Central Health side, and that is open.
This is about avoiding responsibility.
Don Zimmerman with the Travis County Taxpayers Union spearheaded opposition to Prop 1. He says whenever public money is involved, even under a nonprofit, the information discussed should be public.
When they say it's operational, I say they want to operate without any oversight. They want to operate without open meetings, and they want to operate without being accountable to the voters.
I could envision a circumstance where there may be something you wish to hold an open meeting. It's not, but that's different than being required to hold an open meeting. And this new entity is not required to hold open meetings.
To change that, Zimmerman says the Taxpayers Union is considering filing a new lawsuit against Central Health. Catherine Stolp, KITV News.
The nonprofit is expected to start meeting in March.
$250,000 for new sidewalks.
Coming up next, we ask some tough questions to find out if it's worth your tax money. Georgetown city planners are spending $200,000 on new sidewalks downtown. They tell us they're expecting the population to nearly quadruple in the next decades. KITV's Cassie Gallo spoke with Georgetown officials to find out why those sidewalks are worth your money.
Camille Sweezy's clothing shop is on one of the busiest streets in Georgetown.
It needs some fix-em-up.
So to bring in more business, she's on board with the Austin Avenue Sidewalk Project.
It's going to be really worth it because my side of the street here is not as pedestrian friendly.
The goal is to increase kind of the walkability, the pedestrian experience.
The cost is nearly $250,000. That doubles the sidewalks and takes out the parking spaces.
It really improves the visibility to these businesses here.
Keith Hutchinson with the City of Georgetown says preserving its historic value is part of the high cost.
This old limestone curbing here, you can see here's some metal from one of the old rings where people would tie up their horses. This curbing will actually be retained.
Small touches like that are what business owners say brings people downtown.
The whole logo and promotion of the square has been the most beautiful square in Texas, and I think it's just going to really add to that.
And wider, safer sidewalks are needed.
And it does provide a little more space between where people are and where the traffic is.
We merchants, we need the business and to keep us going here.
Business owners say being patient through the construction is worth it. In Georgetown, Cassie Gallo, KITV News.
City officials say construction is expected to go on through April. Georgetown awarded the contract this week to Keystone Construction out of Austin. More construction coming at Austin Bergstrom International Airport.
In a few months, ABIA will start building a $144 million parking garage. With that comes a $1.2 million piece of art required under city law.
KITV's Christy Post has a first look at the facility and and she dug into this project and find out how much it's costing you.
In 2011, Austin Bergstrom International Airport served 9.1 million passengers. With that record growth, ABIA's rental car facilities needed to expand. That's why last year, City Council approved this $144 million garage.
This consists of building a 3-story parking garage on the east side of the current Lot A. The top 2 levels of the garage would be used by the rental car operations. The lower level would be available for public parking.
Construction will begin this spring and finish in 2015. In the meantime, travelers will be able to use the economy lot.
So it should have little to no impact on customers.
And we're uncovering fees from rental car customers will actually fund the entire project.
If a customer comes to the airport and rents a car, that $595 fee is automatically charged, and it has been charged up to this point.
Therefore, no taxpayer dollars will be spent. However, under city law, this multi-million-dollar facility must have 2% of the budget go towards the purchase of art. This one will be done by Vito Aconci.
Vito Aconci is the artist who was selected for the Conrack project.
The design process has just started, and the city anticipates the art to be a destination for international travelers. And it will be one of 11 other pieces that make this airport a walking museum. We talked to some people who are thrilled.
And I think it's fantastic the airport supports that, that the city of Austin supports that.
It just has a lot of cool artwork in here, statues.
In Southeast Austin, Christy Post, KITV News.
The new artwork at the airport is in the beginning stages. In the coming months, the airport will be seeking more input from the public. We're back in a moment.
Thanks for watching. David Letterman's up next.
Have a great weekend. Good night.